All right. All right, South Florida community, welcome. We are the SFMA, the South Florida Manufacturers Association. Matt Rocco, president of the association, here with Chris Albert from Fortress Marine Anchors. We have Sharon Erickson from Caliber Sales, and we're going to have a few of our other members here. We are coming live from NazTec International in West Palm Beach, where we just got finished with the ribbon cutting for their expansion of their aerospace, robotics, AI, and defense space. And we're going to be joined by a few of other colleagues and members of the SFMA this morning. But this is a special day for us because not only did we celebrate the growth of a manufacturing facility in West Palm Beach, significant growth. We are today, October 3rd, is the first day of manufacturing month for the state of Florida. And also, October 3rd, the first Friday in October, is always manufacturing day for the entire United States. So if you're listening to this podcast, not understanding what manufacturing is, our goal today is to really promote the industry and share with you some really cool things that are happening, because it is not just a machine shop. That's not manufacturing anymore. It is marine, it is aerospace, it is defense, it is semiconductors, it is marine, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals. I mean,
food.
Florida just food.
Yep, everything.
I mean, Florida dominates manufacturing. Would you say, Chris?
Coming here today,
It's amazing.
I'd say it's such a great time and such a great place to be a manufacturer right here in Florida. Seeing this company, NazTec, what they've done, the story they had.
Absolutely.
Sal, the founder, had named it after his brother who had just died.
Yeah.
And they've gotten into everything. Sal has over 20 issued patents, and he's got over 50 patents pending.
Yeah.
They've done some amazing work.
Absolutely.
Their robotics, their election work, and they recently did a project for Mecca and Medina, the places where the religion of Islam goes on Hajj, where they'll have 30 million people listening to prayers, and they have a technology that translates the prayers in real time so that everybody can hear it in their own language.
How cool is that? I mean, you just talk about, that's one aspect of what they're doing here. And I want to thank Digital Vibes this morning for really stepping up and helping us do this podcast. This is the first one we're doing for the SFA. It's streaming live. We're going to pump it out. So thank you to Will and Coach and everybody at Digital Vibes for what you're doing. But I wanted to introduce Sharon Erickson, who is the owner and CEO and runs Caliber Sales Engineering. She's one of our dear members on our board, and I'd love for her to share about what they manufacture, what their industry is, where she sees this heading, because again, manufacturing is not machining. It is machining, but it's just not machining anymore. It's not your typical what you're thinking of. So Sharon, what is going on at Caliber Sales?
Well, thank you for having me here.
That's cool.
I appreciate it. Well, we're excited. We're excited about the growth within our industry, the aerospace and defense industry. We've been in it since 1987, and we've basically seen it all. We provide sustainment services in the radar defense electronics and lithium-ion battery packs for communication equipment, all in the defense space.
Yeah.
We've seen upgrades and technology insertion and the cycle, the design and development cycle, just shrinking, allowing different types of technology to get into the market faster, to become more innovative, to make our soldiers and our war fighters safer and adapt to the changes that we're seeing in technology. And we're pushing and moving along right with it.
That's amazing. That's happening in South Florida. That's not happening in some remote desert field somewhere in Arizona or in California or wherever. It's happening in South Florida.
Here.
Yeah. And Caliber Sales last year, or for this year, won Manufacturer of the Year for our coveted award. So it's just amazing what they're doing.
Thank you.
That's huge. I mean, the way technology is affecting warfighting. I mean, when I was in the Marine Corps, we would talk about paradigm shifts in warfare. And there's so many things going on out there with drones and different types of technology. And for you guys to keep up with that, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Really Thank you. I appreciate it. 20 years ago, we were working in the beginning of drones with the major drone manufacturers on different components, and just to see where it's come and where it's heading.
Yeah. How has your company evolved over the years? Because I know Caliber since 1987, I believe. So long-standing company. How has Caliber evolved over the years?
Well, we started as a rep organization representing U.S. manufacturers whose sole customer were either the major OEMs like Northrop Grumman and Lockheed, or the U.S. government. Because that's where they were investing their money in. ITAR compliance, export regulations, financing, they didn't handle that. So we did that in markets like South Asia, Southeast Asia, South America, then the niche markets, providing those sustainment services so that way the manufacturers in the U.S. could keep their systems running in the rest of the world. In about 15 years ago, we started seeing the consolidation of a lot of these manufacturers, the smaller ones growing into bigger ones. They were losing some of that technology, losing some of that know-how. So that's where we stepped in and said, you know what? We're going to control our own destiny, and we're going to open up our own manufacturing and repair facility.
Perfect.
And it's been a growth, and now we're supporting the U.S. government and the DoD directly, several dozens of defense agencies abroad, and OEMs like Northrop Grumman and
Amazing.
General Dynamics and others.
It's just so cool when you hear what's being made out there, and you wouldn't know unless you're either involved in manufacturing or in the community. But our goal is to really pump out the message that Florida is a manufacturing state, and I'll share why. Chris, I won't steal your thunder, but what you all do at Fortress Marine Anchors, and Chris is the general manager at Fortress Marine Anchors in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'll let you share what you manufacture, but what you do manufacture is the only one in the United States that manufactures this type of anchor. And again, it's not in New York, it's not in California, it's not in Texas, it's not in these other states, or not in the Midwest where you would think manufacturing is happening. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Share with us what's going on there.
That's correct. I mean, Fortress Marine Anchors, we're a small but mighty anchor company. We've been manufacturing since 1988. We make lightweight collapsible fluke anchors. Back in the late 1980s, our founder, Don Hallerberg, he killed that myth that you needed heavy anchors in order to hold a boat. Our anchors have been shown to be the strongest straight line holding power anchors in the world, despite their lightweight. Our 4-pound anchor can hold a boat anywhere from 12 to 28 feet. And then our 69-pound anchor goes on U.S. Coast Guard cutters. So it's been great. We are the only American-made anchor manufacturer in the world. All of our competitors have gone to China, or they're going to New Zealand, places like that. But we're the only ones who didn't cut corners. We're the only ones who stuck right here in Florida, and we're proud to be here.
Yeah. Tell us a little. Go ahead, Sharon.
Well, I was going to say that long before I met Chris in the early 2000s, Caliber was working with them. Yes. And their anchors, we sold and supplied their anchors to fast speed patrol boats being manufactured in the Middle East. And those went to India and Europe and everything. And they even were calling out these anchors back then. And we were very happy to work with them. So this is great. You think here, marine industry, you're thinking the tourism.
Right.
You know, Florida is synonymous with marine, but you're not necessarily thinking manufacturing.
Absolutely.
And that's that misconception. There's so much.
Absolutely. There's so many facets to the industry, so many facets to the business. And you know, SFMA had just did a huge partnership with MIASF, and we're getting more and more marine organizations that are joining up with SFMA because of that.
Exactly. Actually, great thought. Shout out to Phil Purcell at the Marine Industry Association South Florida, and Ana Maria Rodriguez, who worked with Phil on establishing that committee. You know, we're going to bring up another manufacturer in just a minute, and Chris, I'd love to get your background story, but I know, Sharon, real quick before you have to depart, I know that you are bound by certain things with the Department of Defense and do other stuff, but is there anything you share? Because I know that you do travel overseas in other countries. Is there anything you can share about the work you're doing over there that you're able to?
I can say that our allies are really important to us. You know, their safety is our safety.
Absolutely.
And making sure we're all working together with the same common goal is really critical. And they're looking for strong partners, and just as we need to make sure that we have sustainment, they have as well. So, you know, tariffs and everything aside, political stuff aside, there's a community outside of our own that needs our support.
You have how many employees again? How many employees do you have?
We have
Yeah,
30
30
down here.
So think about that. You have a 30-person company doing that work. Again, people would automatically think, oh, the Lockheeds are doing it. And you got these massive conglomerates are the only ones that are doing it. But yet, that's not manufacturing in South Florida. It's typical with Sharon and Chris. I know that you have less than 30 employees as well.
Yep.
It's just the work that's being done is just awe-inspiring. So we thank you, Sharon, for
I have a
what you all
question
do.
for
Yep.
Sharon too, real quick before she
course.
goes. There's a myth out there that women can't enter manufacturing, they can't enter
point.
tech, and obviously you're destroying that myth. What
Thank you.
What do you have to say about that?
Roll up your sleeves.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. There's nothing that we can't do. Maybe the barriers a little bit. It's a little harder than it would be for the two of you, let's say, to get in. That's never deterred me.
Yeah.
And I had a mentor, Marcia Baldwin, at Course Survival, and she's also a manufacturer here in Florida. And I watched her while I was going through school and everything, and watch how she could break down those barriers and everything. And I think that was really, we can do it. You just have to learn that to respectful and cultural sensitivity when you're abroad, and down here, it's just about making sure you have that seat at the table.
Absolutely.
But thank you.
That's a great point. And before Sharon leaves, for those that want to come see and meet Sharon and Chris and all of our manufacturers, go to our website, www.sfma.org, sallyfrankmaryapple.org, sfma.org. We have our annual meeting coming up on October 16th and our Made in South Florida showcase. There are going to be close to 50 companies showcasing who they are, what they do. So time is still of the essence. The last day to register does close today, and I think it closes right at noon or 1 o'clock. So if you're listening on, go online and register. So Sharon,
great event.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being here.
Thank you
Sharon.
very
This was
much.
fun.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good. And now we're going to welcome up another. I don't want to say first, but another only one that does it in the U.S. and it might be the world. I don't want to steal his thunder, but we're going to welcome up Sean Quinn, who is the founder and the owner of a company in West Palm Beach called Wafer World. Come on up, Sean.
Come on over here, Sean.
Sit here.
So while Sean's getting situated here, we wanted to provide a couple quick stats for those listening, because again, you may be thinking, oh, manufacturing, why is it important? It's really not. Florida is really not a manufacturer. There's probably 100 manufacturers in the state. Well, a lot of people, when we talk about this, are very surprised. So just in South Florida, I'll quantify that. Sharon and Chris are in Broward County. Sean Quinn is in Palm Beach County. We have manufacturers in Miami-Dade County and a little bit in the Treasure Coast. There's over 6,000 manufacturing companies. Sean, how many employees do you have?
15, Matt.
15.
Yes, sir.
So we had 15, 30, and less than
We're at 12.
at 12.
Yeah.
That is the quintessential, and that is what represents manufacturing in South Florida. Less than 50 employees. I mean, we have large ones here. Stryker is in Weston. They do the robotics and innovation for their joint and hip and knee replacement. They've got 500 plus. You've got a marine manufacturer of speakers for boats. That's we used to be JL Audio, now it's Garmin, but they have 400, 500 employees. There's big ones here. But what represents manufacturing is who we have with us today on the podcast. Florida has 27,000 manufacturing companies in the state. That ranks third in the nation. So if you're listening, you're hearing, did Matt just say third in the nation? Yes, third in the nation for the most amount of companies here. The GDP of manufacturing is up to the top with some of the industries that we all know and love, tourism and others. It's just a lot happening in manufacturing. So, Sean, thanks for joining us here. Again, we're at NazTec International. Just got finished with an amazing ribbon cutting on their expansion. I think they said they're going to add 100 jobs, if I heard that correctly.
Yep.
So look at that, 100 jobs. Amazing. Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, Wafer World.
First of all, thanks, Matt, Anna Maria, Business Development Board, for inviting me here. This was an honor to see NazTec. I'd never heard of them. I get that. Nobody's heard of my company. So cool to hear Nazir's story, his family. I can't wait to go on the tour and eat some Indian food after this.
Yes.
Yep.
Me personally, I'm on the board now of South Florida Manufacturers, the Business Development Board, and I'm heavily involved in the Palm Beach State College STEM program in Lake Worth, trying to solve the education problems. Waif World itself, my background, I've been in the business almost 40 years. I started with the first car airbags, worked way up to the first satellites. And Waif World's a 30-year-old company, and we're now sole supplier in the world to pretty much every silicon-based sensor material in airplanes, military devices, energy, oil rigs, natural gas, high-level watches. So we deal with multi-billion-dollar companies. We manage their inventories, their purchasing, and we have perfect on-time delivery and quality. We were acknowledged during the shutdown 5 years ago. We had letters all the way up to the president that we could not be shut down.
Wow.
We've been involved in some things that people are aware of back in 2018 when the airplanes fell down in the Far East. We've been heavily involved in solving these sorts of problems. And this is a great place to manufacture, and we're heavily involved in trying to get other companies to come here and giving them an insight to what it looks like.
That's amazing.
30 years ago and now.
And I know that you personally are you mentioned heavily involved in Palm Beach State College with their STEM program and things like that. Anything you want to share, about that?
Yeah, I mean, basically we're trying to re-engineer education where it's at. We've got too many kids going in debt with a meaningless piece of paper, and we have a solution. Absolutely. And it's time to be heard. So I haven't said anything in 30 years. Now it's time for me to speak. I'm going to spearhead that. I have no political ties. I don't work for the South Florida manufacturers. I don't work for business development, and I don't work for Palm Beach State. It's all about getting them to communicate, say the things they can't say to each other, and make stuff happen.
Absolutely. Wow. That's a great point. You talk about going to college, coming out with a ton of debt, not having maybe sometimes direction, and it just leads to some paths.
Huge. That's huge. Right, I mean, when I got out of the military, I went to college because everybody told me that was the thing I needed to do.
Thank you for your service, Sean.
Yeah.
Yep,
thank
Chris,
you.
Thanks.
I mean, I got a lot out of it, but getting the college education, I think about how much time I wasted studying things that I don't use today. And if I had that type of advice back then, it would have been a game changer for me, and I would have gotten into manufacturing way earlier than I did.
Yeah, that's a great point. Not everybody knows where they want to go, what they want to do, what path they have an idea, but you get veered in different directions. You got to be open for all possibilities. I mean, in the state of Florida and in Palm Beach County, we were talking about that a little bit earlier this morning. The average salary is over $70,000 for manufacturing. Think about that. Go to school. Maybe it's a 2-year degree. Maybe it's a certificate, maybe whatever it might be. Maybe you go, you work in manufacturing, and the company will support you in going to get your 4-year degree. But there's nothing wrong at all with a 2-year degree, with a certificate. I mean, it's just a way of a path to success, right? It's not all about a 4-year degree. You don't have to get a master's degree. You don't have to get a doctorate degree. That's not sometimes going to get you where you want to go.
Sean, how did you get started in your business and manufacturing in general?
Shit luck.
Yeah, that's sometimes
that's your story too. Why don't you tell your story? It's the luck.
As Missouri was saying, it's all family. My mother's coworker, husband was running a small factory in South Boston. I needed a job. I knew print advertising in the late 80s. I knew pretty good with math. Went in and didn't know anything other than IC chips went into computers. And I saw what they were doing, and then just visually and mentally understood it. I'm not a scientist or a chemist. I'm a business person.
Yeah.
So I can see things that other people can't see, and I let the people that do these sorts of high-level skills do their thing.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think now if you tie that into what's going on in education's always been a literal thing. It's under attack now. You have to have this piece of paper. I don't care what your piece of paper is. What are you going to be able to do with this company, and how are you going to grow going forward? Yep. Do you have a work ethic? So you take literal to applied, and then you introduce the 3 H's: head, heart, hands. That's what manufacturing is.
I like
it's
that.
that simple.
I love it. Head, hearts, hands. The Triple H. I love it.
Yeah,
we're not talking about the wrestler.
That's awesome.
So, Chris, you've got a similar to Sean, and you were in LA, one of the top fitness coaches, nutritionist. I know you did a lot of work with some celebrities and who you can't name, but And you got, so tell us your journey.
Yeah,
It's an amazing story, because you love to say, I knew nothing about manufacturing, and now you're a general manager. So tell us.
I've got the craziest story in the world, because when I got out of the Marine Corps, I thought I was going to be a college professor at first. So I went and I worked on a PhD at University of California, Santa Barbara, in the political science department. And I was there for 4 years. And I was about to turn in my dissertation. I passed my dissertation prospectus. I passed my doctoral exams. And I was about to start my dissertation. And I said to myself, I don't want to be a professor. Like, what am I going to do? So I was, at the time, what I call a bodybuilding hippie. I see my man with the big guns over there, so I'm not trying to flex next to him.
There you go. Right.
But I'm
coach.
Yeah, I started bodybuilding, and that was like my thing. And I had started personal training on the side up there, and so I dropped out of school, opened up a gym called Metroflex Gym in Long Beach with my buddy Eddie, and was out there for a few years. I was living off $300 a month, and then like sleeping in the gym, things like that. Eventually started my own online training business, made money off of that, and was doing that for about 10 years. And I had a lot of high-end clients. But then I came down with autoimmune disease, and I went from being a 220-pound bodybuilder down to 148 pounds, like that, in like 4 or 5 months. And I needed to figure out quickly what I was going to do, because I could no longer make money off of my image anymore. So my buddy, who I had actually been his academic advisor at UCSB, he wanted to climb Mount Everest. He had gone into investment banking. He wanted a program so he could do that. And so I wrote him a program, and we hopped on a Zoom, and he saw how thin I was, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I told him the story, and he said, "Why don't you come work for me part-time at Fortress Anchors as a part-time sales guy?" And so I started, and then 6 months later, through a whole bunch of circumstances, I ended up becoming the general manager.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a path of where you never thought you were going to get. Be open to every possibility. I think everyone listening, especially those maybe that are the younger generation, I mean, you saw similar but different paths and where they got to in their lives.
Yeah.
And hearing from very successful people.
Absolutely.
On that as well. When you think about, I mentioned, Florida's a manufacturing state. One thing I did want to share with everybody that right now Florida ranks number 10th in the nation overall for manufacturing. So there was a pretty big study done 2 years ago between the Florida Secretary of Commerce, Alex Kelly, and also Florida Makes, who is our statewide manufacturing partnership center. So they're who we're partners with, and they did a wonderful study which highlighted manufacturing in Florida's 10th in the nation. So again, if you're wondering, man, manufacturing, we didn't realize it's 10th in the nation. We have a pretty big event coming up. Chris, if you want to share anything about our annual meeting, because you've attended that before. And
Yep. So we've got the annual meeting come up and our Made in South Florida showcase. We're going to have companies showing off what they do, showing off their products, and then we're going to have the annual meeting. We got some great keynote speakers lined up. It's going to be a fantastic event. And if for those of you out here who might be listening who aren't familiar with SFMA, I have to tell you, it's the best organization we've ever joined. It's the best decision I've ever made in my business. As I said, I don't have any experience in manufacturing, and the support that SFMA and Florida Makes have given us have gotten me to be able to we made Fortress Anchors the manufacturer of the year last year.
Just going to mention that.
We're having amazing records in terms of what we're selling, what we're producing, and I just a huge thank you to you guys, and get out there to the annual meeting and check out this organization, because it's absolutely awesome.
And hurry up, because I think registration is going to be closing today at noon or 1. So if you're listening, get on there and register for that to secure that. I mean, it's an amazing thing. I know we're going to touch on manufacturer of the year here in a minute, but when we talk about the impact on manufacturing, right? Mm-hmm. It's been probably in 10 years or a little less than 10 years, it's been over $2.8 billion of impact operationally, just to South Florida. So it's just amazing work that's being done, right? And by a whole host of folks. Sean, any final thought you would like to share maybe on where you see your industry headed, or just on, manufacturing in general that maybe the audience may want to know?
Well, I mean, as far as deeper thoughts, we could talk all day, I suppose. Some of the things that we're doing now as a country, bringing the semiconductors back is good. But in my opinion, we're not executing the plan. You're building semiconductor factories in the western United States. It's a desert. It's not logical. To make deionized water, which is the most important component in making semiconductors, you're putting 1.25 to 1.5 gallons of wastewater down for every 1 gallon of product water. East of the Mississippi, this is where manufacturing should be, with West Palm Beach being in charge of the financials. We pick where these places go. That needs to be the vision. I need to get introduced with some people with a couple more zeros in their paycheck than me and get in their face and tell them the truth and make this happen.
Well, if they're listening out there, let's all connect. You can find all of us on LinkedIn. You can find all of us on the website on that as well. Again, come to the annual meeting October 16th, presented by Florida Power and Light. They've been a great sponsor of that event for, 20 years probably now or more. I want to touch a little bit, though, Chris. We've heard about Sharon, we've heard about you, and I believe, Sean, you've accepted your nomination for Manufacturer of the Year, if I have that correctly.
Nah, we're buying a company actually out of Fort Lauderdale called Micro Reclaim Technology. So we're getting into some energy materials, silicon carbide, gallium nitride, and sapphire to go along with our gallium arsenide and indium phosphide. Sounds kind of technical, but it's in everything that you're using, and we do the reclamation part of that as a separate operation within our facilities.
Very good. Awesome. Share a little bit, Chris, just your experience going through the award, what the award's about. We heard earlier today from a company that is going to go through it, and they said it was probably the most robust, strict in a good way, award process that they've seen in a long time, because it is not a popularity contest. You're not filling out an application and we look at it and go, oh, Fortress Marine wrote the best, so they win. Share about your experience on that, and we'll kind of end there today.
The South Florida Manufacturer of the Year is not an award you're going to just apply for and then pay some money for, and you're going to get this plaque. There's a lot of awards out there like that. This isn't one of those awards. Our first year that we competed in the Manufacturer of the Year.
And did it cost you any money to?
Didn't cost us a dime.
Didn't cost us a dime. Prep.
Yep, you're not paying for a thing. It's a really in-depth process. You have a 2-hour oral exam. I believe they're doing it separately, and then you have an in-person exam. This year they're doing it all in one day, which is gonna be a bit more involved during the day. But my first year, when I heard about the process, I was like, wow, so these guys are going to come in, they're going to look at everything. We're not ready for this. And I'll tell you, if that's your thought out there, there's a lot of people who say that, but you are ready. You need it. If you think you're not ready for it, you need to go through the process, because that process helped me so much. Our first year, we definitely weren't quote unquote ready for it, but we had people come in and they looked at everything. They talked to both me and my coworker Tracy. We went through everything orally, and then they came into the factory, looked at everything, looked at all of our processes, and at the end of that, we were like, wow, that was intense. But through that process, we got feedback from all the business advisors, all the examiners, who looked at our processes and said, this is what you need to do, A, B, C, D. And we went through that. We implemented those changes. And the next year, we did it so well, we ended up winning Manufacturer of the Year through that process. And I'll tell you, I said SFMA was the best decision I've ever made. Competing in the Manufacturer of the Year process was the best decision I ever made for the business. Fortress Anchors has improved so much in our processes and our operations because of the Manufacturer of the Year. I mean, this is something that people would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for in consulting fees.
Oh, and
that's
easy,
what you're getting out of it.
Easy minimum, right? The hours that will be in there and the prep to all that stuff, and other consultants they would have to bring in to do it, and then the report. Because after what happens, so even if a company doesn't win the award, they're still going to walk away with winning, not winning, but they're going to still walk away with something very valuable.
It's a win-win-win situation.
You get a report back, 10, 15 pages, highlights what the judges saw that were great points, highlights all your scores. I mean, there's over 130 scores that are there. You get to know what you're not doing well, where to improve upon, and the things that you agree with, and you capitalize on that and you actually work on implementing those things, your business just exponentially grows and gets better what they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. I mean, there is no lose in this.
No.
If don't worry about winning. Don't worry about winning. That's not the point of this. The whole point of this is just to learn.
Yeah.
And you're going to get some of the best eyes in the industry on your business, and you're going to get so much.
And it's all about process. They don't look at your financial balance sheet. They're not looking at how much you sold. It's your focus on your customer, on your market, on your leadership, on your strategy, your workforce, your technology, your innovation, all that stuff that goes with
And
it.
the examiners will sign NDAs if there's stuff in there that you need an NDA for.
Yeah. Companies like Stryker and Lockheed Martin went through it, so there's no issue with not feeling comfortable because you think they're going to see things. They only can see what they can see on that. So again, if anyone's interested in learning more about that, we're going to have a webinar October 28th. Reach out to us if you want more information. If you're a manufacturer listening and you're like, oh, that sounds pretty cool, I want more, reach out to me. You can find my email on the website for SFMA, but it's a great award. Sean, I wanted to end with you on one thing, because you are, you're an owner, you're a businessman, you're successful. Florida's a very entrepreneurial state. It's one, if not the most entrepreneurial state, one of the top states for entrepreneurship, especially South Florida. I mean, the collaboration here is huge. Whether you're in Palm Beach County, Broward, Miami-Dade, there's tons of resources here. There's tons of, just like the Business Development Board up here in Palm Beach County, I know has helped you out tremendously. But, as a business owner, there might be some younger folks listening in, or maybe those that want to get into entrepreneurship. I'm sure you went through a lot of ups and downs and struggles and this and that. But is there a piece of advice that you would love to give to, those that may be wanting to start their own business or get into entrepreneurship and what that means, and any advice you'd love to give to some folks?
Well, the truth is we're all at will. So you start there. You should all take a chance. Every person, every individual, take a chance. You need to do it. You need to go work for somebody else and learn how the way the world works. But 30 to 35 years old, that's the best time to do it. You're at the right stage in life, and then you can make adjustments after that. If it happens to you later in life, that means it was forced upon you. The company that hired you at 20, they already know when you're going to hit the door, right? It might be 40 when your kids go to school, might be when you get divorced. Why not do it your way, right? You can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's plenty of people ask for advice, but you have to take the chance. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, nobody else does either.
You become what you think about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
No matter what you do in life, you do it the best. If you want to be the best salesperson in the world, you become what you think about. If you want to be the best teacher in the world, it doesn't matter. You become what you think about, right? So it's speaking into existence.
And everybody has to get out of bed every day and do the best they can, whatever it is they're doing. There's nothing too high or too low.
Yeah.
But if you're not contributing, you're wasting everyone's time.
So if you could travel time back to the younger version of Sean Quinn, when you decided, whatever reason, that you were going to start your own business, be an entrepreneur, if looking back here now today and looking back then, is there a piece of advice you would have given yourself back then that you know now?
I had the same amount of hair, so the age thing hasn't really.
You haven't lost your hair, right?
Yeah, you average looking in the beginning, you end up average at the end, so it's not so bad. But
because everyone sees these celebrities out there and all these well-known entrepreneurs, but they don't understand maybe that what goes behind the scenes. And if there's
the only skill that any of us have is confidence. Maybe some of us are smarter, they're stronger, more intelligent. You got to believe in yourself. That's what these kids have to take out of what's going on socially with social media. Yeah. You have to. And if you need help, put your hand up. But don't stop believing in yourself.
Have that swag, that confidence, right?
Absolutely.
There you go. Take a page out of the University of Miami football. I had to throw that plug in. It's a big game this weekend. Come on, right? Hopefully I didn't offend anybody. That's all right. It's all about Miami. All right, I'll stop. Chris, any last piece of advice you'd like to give?
I'll just piggyback off what Sean said. I mean, when I get in touch with young men, I say you got a set window in your life where you could live on a couch and you could live off ramen noodles, and you could take those chances. And that window is between 18 and 35.
Yeah.
Once you get over, I would say I would also say probably over 30, and you get involved, you get married, things like that, you're not going to be able to take those chances, because likely there's going to be somebody there who's going to say, if you take those chances, I'm going to leave you. But so you got to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
If you're young, expend your energy wisely, put it into something that you're going to learn from. Don't worry about success right off the bat. You're going to learn much more from your failures than you are from your successes.
Absolutely. Excellent. Well, for those that are listening to us, I hope this was fun, enjoyable, informative. I hope you learned a little bit more about manufacturing. To end it, I mean, at 4:30 p.m. today, we're going to be doing a manufacturing tour of a company in Palm Beach, because we're up here today. They are called Bordery. They got actually a deal on Shark Tank, I believe, with Lori from Shark Tank. They manufacture they make their own charcuterie boards, actual boards, right? And then they cure their meats, they cure their olives. They're not getting meats from boar's head, cheese from boar's head. They do everything themselves, so they manufacture the entire board. When you think about, like, oh, meat, you're manufacturing meat. Yeah, if you're curing meats and you're
Yep.
manufacturer. That's at 4:30 today. They're going to be doing a beautiful wine and cheese and manufacturing tour of that. So we heard about aerospace and defense today. We heard about silicon wafers today. We heard about marine anchors. We heard about some company that's manufacturing their own charcuterie board, and they're selling all over the world. So manufacturing is unique. It's fun. 6,000 manufacturers out here, 100,000 employees, 25% of the state's employment, all these different industries. That's manufacturing in South Florida. So we hope all of you listening, come check us out. Go to our website, sfma.org, sallyfrankmaryapple.org, sfma.org. And I know this is one of many podcasts we're going to want to do. Before we do officially end, we have to thank our friends here from Digital Vibes. Go to them, check out their website, because they are empowering the youth. That we're in this amazing, when I say this amazing bus, that I don't know what type of van it was before, or truck it was, but they completely reconfigured it into a state-of-the-art digital creative studio with podcasts, soundproof rooms. They didn't leave anything out of here. So Will and Coach and the team from Digital Vibes, thank you so much for putting this on today. Check out their website. Again, if you want to get involved with them, I know that they work with a lot of volunteers in the youth. For what you all did for us today in doing this, I know the SFMA would like to make a donation to Digital Vibes of $500 for that. So I know it's not a lot, but it's a little bit that we can do. So we'll get with you on that. But check out Digital Vibes. It's a great organization. Will and Coach and the team are just doing some fantastic work out there. So for now, we'll see you soon.
That's it.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Cool.